The house lay in quietude, yet it was not peace that enveloped the silence. Rather, it was the palpable stillness that precedes the emergence of something significant. Clara sensed it before the sound of footsteps reached her ears, as if the very atmosphere had changed. Her son, Noah, typically brimming with clever remarks and lively chatter, stepped into the room, his eyes heavy with a burden that caused her heart to falter. A weight hung in the air, a revelation poised on the tip of his tongue, and she found herself questioning whether she was prepared to receive it. Clara cradled a mug of coffee against her chest, feeling the comforting warmth seep through her fingers. Such moments were a rarity, tranquil and unhurried, her thoughts not yet racing ahead to the endless list of tasks awaiting her. She savored a lengthy sip, allowing her shoulders to relax slightly. Serenity enveloped the scene. Then arrived the sound, echoes of footsteps. Soft, deliberate sounds, as if the speaker hesitated, uncertain of their desire to be listened to. She pivoted gently, the moment coinciding with Eli's entrance through the doorway. The dark hoodie draped effortlessly over his slender form, his hands buried deep within the pockets. His hair was a wild tangle of curls, as if he had thrown caution to the wind and neglected to tame it after rising from slumber, assuming he had even found rest at all. At 19, Noah possessed a keen wit, always prepared with a clever retort, his words twisting and turning with effortless charm. Yet, in this moment, his silence bore a profound significance. A weighty matter. "Hey," he said, his voice barely above a whisper as he settled into a chair at the kitchen table. Clara placed her mug on the table with deliberate care, a sense of unease beginning to churn within her. There was an unmistakable shift in him today. "Hello, my dear," she murmured gently, "all is well." He gave a single nod, yet his gaze remained fixed downward. His gaze remained fixed on the wood grain of the table as if it were concealing secrets waiting to be uncovered. "May we engage in a conversation?" he remarked after a moment's hesitation. Only 4 words, yet they bore a weight that pressed heavily against her heart. Her thoughts whirled with endless possibilities. Was there an issue at school? Was he unwell? Had someone caused him pain? She inclined her head and took a seat opposite him, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "Certainly. Engage with me. What is happening?" He inhaled deeply, the breath trembling as he continued to evade her gaze. "I've been pondering something," he said, his voice measured, "and I found myself unsure of whom else to confide in." He raised his gaze and met her eyes, truly observed. What she beheld in that moment, uncertainty, fear, and trust, constricted her throat. "You've always been the one I could rely on," he remarked. Her heart shattered momentarily, only to mend itself once more. "And you still can," she replied softly. After a moment of silence, he spoke. "There's this girl. She is known as Arya." Clara inclined her body ever so slightly, her hands poised delicately on the table's surface. "She's truly remarkable," Noah continued, and despite a faint blush creeping onto his cheeks, he pressed on with his words. "She possesses both intelligence and kindness. Amusing. She perceives the depths within others, and I truly admire her. However, I have yet to experience something truly genuine, similar to grave. And I fear I might ruin it." Clara released the breath she had been holding. It was not the dreadful scenario she had conjured in her mind, at least not in the way she had anticipated. Yet, the manner in which he expressed it, the way he positioned himself opposite her as if the very earth beneath him were unsteady, illuminated for her that this was no trivial matter. "I want to do it right," he added, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yet, I sense that everyone around me possesses an understanding of the intricacies at play, while I find myself grappling with the very essence of my own purpose." She extended her hand across the table, gently covering his with a comforting squeeze. She remarked that there was no map. "There exists no manual. Your heart has just been acquired." The manner in which you regard and nurture the one you hold dear. His fingers gently curled beneath hers, yet he remained silent for a moment. What if I find myself unprepared? At long last, he posed the question. Or worse, what if I believe I'm prepared and then I just ruin everything? Then you learn, Clara remarked. Errors are part of the journey. Yet, you evolve. That is the way it operates. He fell silent for a moment, then spoke in a voice that trembled slightly. Can I ask you something personal? With a raised eyebrow, she displayed her curiosity. Certainly, if it feels odd, there's no need to respond. Everything is fine. Proceed. He paused for a moment, then hurriedly uttered his thoughts, as though the words might become trapped within him if he didn't release them swiftly. What led you to that conclusion? You're familiar with the backslash. At the moment it was meant to be, to share that kind of connection with another person. With great closeness. Clara's eyes widened, momentarily taken aback by the inquiry. It fell short of her expectations. Yet his gaze remained unwavering, filled with sincerity and a quest for understanding. The manner in which he inquired was devoid of any crudeness or disrespect. He had no intention of being inappropriate. He was striving to grasp a matter of significance. She inhaled deeply, allowing the memory to linger in her mind before she began to speak. It was in that moment of safety, she remarked. When I realized there was no pressure. It was a shared understanding, a reassurance that I could decline at any time and still be cherished and held in high regard. Noah nodded slowly, as if her words were a key unlocking something deep within him. That resonates, he whispered. I believe I shall hold off for now, not for eternity, but until I discern that the moment is just right. Yet, I find myself reluctant to remain in the dark when the moment arrives. I aspire to execute it flawlessly. That's not being clueless, she murmured, her voice gentle. That demonstrates wisdom. He glanced upward once more, and in that moment, the tightness in his shoulders had relaxed ever so slightly, as if a part of him, long confined, had finally found the space to exhale. From that moment forward, an unspoken change settled between them. Noah began returning home more frequently after school. He would arrive for dinner, staying a while longer afterward, occasionally assisting her with the dishes or inquiring about her day without needing to be prompted. It lacked any sense of drama. It was soft and tender, authentic. He spoke at length about his classes, his aspirations, and Arya. Her name was frequently mentioned now, her laughter, her passion for vintage records, her tendency to tap her foot while lost in thought. As dusk settled, painting the sky in soft hues of violet, Clara found herself in the kitchen, the flicker of a candle's flame dancing to life, when once more, the sound of footsteps reached her ears. Noah rested against the doorframe, a faint smile playing at the edge of his lips. Do you have a moment to spare? Always, she declared. She accepted, he declared. We shall venture out this Friday. Her visage radiated with joy. How delightful, she remarked. Do you feel a sense of apprehension? He nodded, a chuckle escaping his lips, a mix of fear and readiness swirling within him. She approached him and tenderly cradled his face in her hand. You've blossomed remarkably, she remarked. You are no longer the same child who departed last autumn. You are evolving into a truly formidable individual. Contemplative. Arya is fortunate. He offered a smile, slightly askew. I receive that from you, he remarked. Once he had retreated to his room, Clara lingered at the sink, allowing the warm water to cascade over her hands as she meticulously washed a few glasses. A smile crept across her face. In this new stage, there was an unexpected beauty, a realm where they transcended the roles of mother and son, becoming two individuals striving to understand the depths of care, to pose sincere questions, and to genuinely be present for one another. On that evening, she perched on the porch, cradling a glass of wine in her hand. The stars were starting to emerge, twinkling softly in the twilight sky. Noah emerged with a blanket, finding a spot beside her, their shoulders brushing against one another. "May I pose another question to you?" he uttered. "Certainly. When you experienced your first genuine relationship, did you feel a sense of fear?" She gazed at the stars, recalling the flutter of nerves, the glimmer of hope, and all the unspoken emotions she had felt in those moments long ago. Filled with dread, she uttered, "Yet, it pulses with life." Love has that effect. It heightens your emotions, allowing you to experience everything with greater depth. The sheer delight. The dread. The pain. Noah fell silent for a moment, then gave a slow nod. "I believe that's what I desire," he remarked, "even the challenging aspects. I yearn to experience something genuine." Clara faced him, taken aback by the subtle bravery that resonated in his tone. "How courageous," she remarked. He offered her a gentle smile. "I am absorbing knowledge from the finest." Friday arrived, brimming with the anxious excitement reminiscent of a first date. Noah altered his shirt thrice, meticulously arranged his hair, and repeatedly glanced at his phone. He ultimately chose a navy button-down paired with jeans and freshly laundered sneakers. He appeared refined yet remained true to his essence. "You look fantastic," Clara called out from the hallway. "Do you believe she will appreciate it?" She mentioned that she believes so already. "Simply embrace your true self. That is quite sufficient." He moved closer to her, a surge of unbidden feeling welling up in his gaze. "Thank you for all that you've done," he expressed. "I never imagined we could engage in conversations like this together. It caught me off guard, this sense of safety. Yet, I find myself pondering how I would navigate life without it now." She enveloped him in a warm embrace, her arms encircling him with unwavering strength. "Go create a memory," she urged. "Extend kindness to her, as well as to yourself." She observed from the front window as he departed. The stillness of the house afterward carried a distinct weight. Not devoid, but transformed. Her son had lost his sense of justice.